Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bolin. Thank you all for joining me once again. So, Stacey Abrams is running for the governor of Georgia. And just recently in an interview, she said something that has gotten a lot of people talking, me being one of them, needless to say. And that is this idea that because of the high inflation rates that we are all dealing with here in this country, that it's best to abort your baby. To solve the problem of inflation, since you can't afford these babies, it's best to abort them. That's her argument. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to read to you just a portion of what she actually had to say, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on this whole idea of aborting your baby because of the cost of living. So let's get into this. Boy, I tell you, the Democrats some of these Democrats are just have some of the most outlandish worldviews. It's hard for it to, in my mind, for anyone to support people like this, but it is what it is. Let's get into this. Georgia Democrat Stacey Abrams, who is running for governor, said during a television appearance Wednesday that more abortion access was a solution to combating the nation's crippling inflation rate, a remark that prompted widespread backlash from Republicans. And of course, Republicans are there's going to be backlash from Republicans. It's always the same thing. If Republicans do something or say something, the Democrats are going to say something. If the Democrats do something or say something, Republicans are going to respond. So that's natural. Okay, that's natural. But it's been increasing more now recently than it has been. It's like all this opposition. No one can come get on board and agree with anything. But let's look into this. Abrams was asked on MSNBC's Morning Joe, while abortion is an issue, it nowhere reaches the level of interest voters in terms of the cost. Hold on one second. Let me get something right here. Hold on one second, people. Make sure that I get this right here. Okay, let's begin. All right. And since while abortion is an issue, it nowhere reaches the level of interest of voters in terms of the cost of gas, food, bread, milk, things like that. What could you do as a governor to alleviate the concerns of Georgia voters about those daily, hourly issues they're confronted with, which is what they're all, not just people in Georgia, but everywhere. Okay, we all dealing with financial situations. Okay, Abrams replied, and accordingly, these were her words. Let's be clear. Having children is why you're worried about your price for gas. It's why you're concerned about how much food costs. For women, this is not a reductive issue. You can't divorce being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy from the economic realities of having a child. So these were her words here. Apparently, these were the words that she said. This was her response. Let's be clear. Having children is why you're worried about your price for gas. Having children is why you're worried. Is that the reason why these women are worried? It's why you're concerned about how much food costs. Really? Really? I mean, because we can assume that from people who don't have children and they're still worried about the high price of gas. They're still worried about high food prices, but they don't have children. So how can you? This is what people that have no moral values, like a lot of these progressive Marxist Democrats are, people that don't have that kind of moral values or no moral sense of right or wrong, they can say things like this with impunity. It means nothing to them because you mean nothing to them. It's all about power and control. Someone like this, I'm going on a rant here, but someone like this cannot possibly care about the people, period. The voters, the unborn children, whatever. Someone like this cannot possibly care about the voters or the children. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Since Abrams, who is facing Governor Brian Kemp in a contentious gubernatorial rematch, then provided a non-specific list of follow-up answers to the current high cost of living, which nearly 70% of respondents in a recent Atlanta Journal Constitution poll said was, quote, an extremely important or, quote, very important consideration for how they would vote. It says a governor can address housing prices. A governor can address the cost of education. A governor can put money into the pockets of everyday hardworking Georgians instead of giving tax cuts to the wealthy. That's what the Democrats always say. Tax cuts to the wealthy, tax cuts to the wealthy, tax cuts to the wealthy. That's why I talk about, that's what I talk about on the trail, Abrams said before switching the conversation back to abortion. I want to say something about this whole idea where she says about giving tax cuts to the wealthy, which is what a lot of Democrats like to spew out all the time. All tax cuts to the wealthy. Here's the problem. Most of the people that donate to people's Stacey Abrams campaigns and a lot of these Democrats campaigns are wealthy. Now, when they say wealthy, they're not, listen, let me explain something to you. When Democrats say wealthy, they're not talking about the billionaires. Okay, they're not talking about the multi-billionaires like George Soros, who helped finance Stacey Abrams' campaign to begin with. He gave her a significant amount of money. Why did he give her a significant amount of money? Because her worldview, which is a liberal Marxist worldview, is the same worldview he has. He hates America and wants to destroy America. He literally said that. He wants to destroy America and create a socialist country. Stacey Abrams, among many others, have the same worldview. So needless to say, he's going to give money to her campaign. All right. The whole situation about the rich and so forth, that giving tax cuts to the rich or tax cuts to the wealthy is a reference to the middle class. And if you happen to be middle class and you're bothering to even listen to this video, they're talking about you. Stacey Abrams is talking about you. The Democrats are talking about you. They're not talking about the super rich, the billionaires and the multi-millionaires. Because the billionaires and the billionaires and the multi-millionaires are the ones that help finance their campaign to steer their worldview towards the worldview that they want. So the wealthy is the middle class. Okay, they're going to tax you. You put them in office, that's where your money going to start disappearing all of a sudden. Don't be fooled. Don't fall for the hype, man. It's a bunch of nonsense. Bunch of nonsense, and it's a lie. It's rhetoric. Kemp, and the article goes on to say, Kemp, an outspoken pro-life governor, signed into law Georgia's 6-week abortion ban in 2019, and the ban, which includes exceptions, took effect after Roe v. Wade was overturned this year. And then it goes on to say, and there's a lot of different tweets and so forth, many tweets of people just getting on her about what she says. Let me read you one. Herschel Walker. It says Republican Herschel Walker, who is vying to unseat Senator Raphael Warnock in a highly competitive Senate battle, raised the question to Warnock of whether he agrees with Abrams. And this is what Herschel Walker tweeted. He says, Stacey Abrams believes abortion is the answer to inflation. I bet Reverend Warnock won't answer the question. Does he agree with her? And of course, you know, Reverend Warnock is very pro-abortion. And as it said, the article goes on to say that Warnock, a longtime pastor, that's one of the things that bother me. This man is a pastor. A longtime pastor who is notoriously pro-abortion did not respond to a request for comment from Breitbart News on the matter. I'm going to end the article right there. Of course he didn't respond. Of course he didn't respond. You a pastor and you pushing this. As an assistant pastor myself, you need to repent and come. You need to repent and be restored to fellowship, my brother. And I'm going to say it, I don't care if people agree or disagree. You need to repent and be restored to fellowship because God ain't with you, my man. But that's a whole nother story. I ain't going to get it. We're going to get on Stacey Abrams case right now. Like I said, you guys can read the rest of that article in the link in the description box below if you can stomach it. But here's my dilemma. She's saying that the way to deal with this abortion, in essence, is to basically deal with this inflation, rather, is to have an abortion. Here's the problem with this. The first thing came to my mind was the fact that as a Democrat, you would think, or one would think, okay, if you're having these babies, the welfare system that Democrats push and promote like it's the end of the world, the welfare system would take care of them. If the issue is having a baby because of this high inflation, You can't afford to have this baby, so best thing to do is abort it. Why didn't Stacey Abrams give the option of the welfare state? Why didn't she just say, well, you know what, the welfare system would take care of you, because the welfare system will take care of you. The more babies you have, the more money you're going to get, whether it's in food stamps and financial assistance and subsidized housing. Everybody that's been on welfare knows that. I know because I've been on it several times, and I've been on it without having the babies with me. You know, of course, I'm a male, I can't, but I'm just saying, I've been down that road. So the more you have, more children you have, the more they're going to give you. So the question is, why is there such a push for this abortion thing? What's going on here? Why didn't she say, well, you know what, if you have these babies, the financial solution isn't to kill the baby, because that's what it is. It's killing, in my view, it's killing, and I'm not going to argue that. The other alternative is to get on welfare. You might not want to stand up, but get on welfare. That'll help you. It'll help you with your financial issues, subsidized housing, food stamps, money assistance, all of that you would get. You get. Why abort it? So once again, goes back to the question: why are they pushing this abortion thing? There has to be something else going on here. Why is people like Stacey Abrams pushing this abortion thing as the solution for everything? They'll mention health, and as the article goes on, it mentions about how the governor of Georgia, when he put that law into place about stopping the abortion and so forth, he even stopped the ones that has to do with incest and incest and rape. But that's less than 2% of the women that have babies. So that's not even an issue. I'm not going to even get into the argument of whether or not a baby should be aborted, whether it's raped. But why? Why push it? Even if the baby, if the baby was the product of a rape or incest, why push the abortion? Still, why push? What is the real justification of that? Because you don't want the child to be. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to get into that. It's a whole nother video. What I want to address is this nonsense that Stacey Abrams is pushing, and a lot of these Democrats are pushing. This push for abortion. They have to be getting something. They had to be getting some pushback, some money, some power, some prestige to keep pushing this abortion thing. Or it might be something even more dark and nefarious. Huh? They have to push it because of the selling of baby parts. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's true. That some of these abortion clinics abort these babies and sell these baby parts. So you got to, and I'm pretty sure that some of these, Lord help me, Jesus. Woo! Some of these politicians getting kickback from that. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting. And that's one of the reasons why people like Stacey Abrams are losing the voters. They're losing the voters because their worldviews and their policies are too far left. You could at least try to get in the center, but she's not even attempting to do that. Then she's an unattractive person. Not putting the person down, but she's not all that attractive to look at in terms of politics. And if you're not attractive to look at, if people are going to have a problem with that, in politics. I'm not no Denzel Washington. I'm not trying to say that, but she's not very attractive to look at. So that's already a negative on her part. She's not attractive to look at. The policy she's pushing is too far to the left, and even a significant number of Democrats are not supporting her. Gee, I wonder why. So I just wanted to say that this is not the solution. The solution to inflation is not aborting your baby, in my opinion. If you having these babies and you having a problem with taking care of the children, get on welfare. You might not want to stay on it, but that's the other option, or give the child up for adoption. Now, I've heard people argue about the adoption agencies, crooked, woo, 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 woo. I get it. But you have to pick the lesser of the two, lesser evil of the two. Kill the baby or give it up for adoption, or let's just prove, let me put it like this in the ending of the video. You have three choices if you have the baby. The way I'm seeing, I'm giving you my opinion. Because of the high cost of inflation, you can't afford the baby, you can abort the baby. You can get on welfare and they'll help you, or you can give the child up for adoption. Them are the three options I see. But to me, abortion is not the option. Abortion is not the answer to this whole inflation situation. She's playing off of the weaknesses of women who are struggling financially. She could care less about whether or not you have health issues. She could care less, the way I see it. But I wanted to give my opinion on it. This is sick and disgusting. Think why it's still legal, folks. Don't let these people mess you up and have you can't even think now. You can't use your head now. Right now, we still can think while it's still legal. And right now, I'm just trying to think my way through this. I'm just trying to think my way through what she just said. Okay? But that's what I had to say. What do you guys think about this? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you all and see you again.